let's actually talk about what excites you most about the marijuana industry. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. Sean?
Yeah, I'll kick this one off. There's a lot of marijuana stocks that have come out and just given these huge pie-in-the-sky figures of how much they're going to grow, 700,000, 500,000 kilograms. But there's a lot more to marijuana than just growing it. And what I'm really interested in seeing beyond just the sales figures, beyond just the expected profitability, I want to see these companies differentiate themselves. And that, I think, is going to be the most exciting part. Instead of seeing these companies grow just traditional dried cannabis, what I'm looking forward to is the cannabis alternatives. And by alternatives, I'm talking about vapes, I'm talking about cannabis oils, I'm talking about edibles, infused beverages, which have been incredibly popular over the last couple of weeks. If you've watched any sort of market mover list, you've seen these companies at the top of the list, regardless of their size, from all the way from Tilray down to New Age Beverages Corporation, excuse me. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to be able to do, how they're going to differentiate themselves once these new forms of consumption are available. What I will preface this with, and what I would remind investors at home, is that these new alternatives, you won't see most of these hitting the market come October 17th. Dried flower and cannabis oil have been given the thumbs up from the Canadian federal government. Every other form, so we're talking vapes, concentrates, edibles, infused beverages, they're supposed to be discussed sometime next year. But there's no timetable on that. It's simple promises and industry expectations at this point.
That's a great point, Sean. I think that not many people who are following the marijuana market recognize that you're talking about not having those things available until next year, that we're really just talking about, the dried flower at this point.
And I've seen some studies, Sean, and you've probably seen the same ones, that show that it's the edibles and the vapes and concentrations, those are the most profitable segments of the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I have seen those studies. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with it, but there's no guarantee that it's going to be a profitable venture right out the gate, or when it's even going to happen.
Right.
Well, it also is. It's a major market opportunity, because if you think about your addressable market of people who are going to go out and they're going to buy dried cannabis, you're really people who want to smoke it. Maybe you'll bake with it. Right. But I think that when you have it in edibles and infused beverages and you make it easier, a lot of consumers that maybe otherwise wouldn't have tried it will say, I'm going to give this a shot, see what it's like. And there's a lot of complexity, obviously, associated with that. But I think that I agree with you. I think that's an exciting potential.
Well, I'll take a different angle on this. The healthcare guy in me will come out here. I'm excited about the medical potential for marijuana. We just had the first plant-based marijuana drug, Epidiolex, get approved. I love some of these names. They just really roll off the tongue, don't they? But, I think there's more potential than maybe people realize for different cannabinoids. And obviously the focus now is on CBD, but there are dozens and dozens of other cannabinoids that have not been researched.
Over 100.
Yeah. It's over 100. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot. And who knows? I mean, in a way, marijuana has been under kind of a stigma for so long, but there could be some real medical potential here. And, we see it with rare forms of epilepsy now, but who knows? I mean, schizophrenia, there are quite a few indications that, this plant could yield some ingredients that really help patients down the road. So that's what excites me.
Absolutely. I'm with you there, Keith.
Yeah.
I think the potential on the medical side is huge. When you talk about movement disorders, neurologic disorders, it really, in terms of growth opportunities for CBD, medical marijuana, to really dive into that sector even more and to really see how that plays out, not just on for Epidiolex, obviously for members who or listeners who have been following that particular story, to see that happen, that was a monumental moment. And that was in May or June of this year?
June 25th.
June, yeah.
And so for Epidiolex to get the first FDA approval for CBD.
Yeah. And even more than just the approval, the scheduling. With
the scheduling
DEA,
too.
They got a great Schedule 5, which is as good as you can get.
Yeah.
And so that really helps GW Pharmaceuticals, who is marketing Epidiolex. That's really going to help them get that drug out.
There's a human element too. I mean, the initial indications are incredibly treatment resistant.
Right.
And these people are suffering, I want to say up to 70 drop seizures a month.
Yeah.
And in trials, it reduced those drop seizures by about 40%,
right.
Depending on the study you were looking at, 40 to 50%. So it's really moving the needle.